I am so excited to be talking about different kind of manga that's not shoujo, not seinen, not josei, so you know what kind of manga I'm talking about today, at least when it comes to demographics. Hello friends, happy Wednesday, so very excited that you're here. Me and my friend Maeve, we have been collabing and we sort of did a mini video series talking about our top 5 manga in each of the demographics, and today is the last video of that mini video series. Don't worry, we have more collabs coming and whatnot, so don't worry there friends. But today we are talking about our top 5 seinen manga, and I laugh because if you watch my top 5 shonen manga, I mentioned I only had a handful of series. It's true for the seinen manga as well, and I do want to mention I'm using Baka updates to confirm they're all seinen. Maybe they're not, but for the sake of reliability, in the sense of that I cross-checked with Baka updates for all of them, they said seinen. I'm gonna stick with that. Hopefully that makes sense, because I feel like one of them I've heard very conflicting views, if it's shoujo, if it's seinen, if it doesn't even have a demographic, so totally bear with me for all my picks. I honestly only have one other manga that would fit for this prompt, and I was like, well, I don't feel that's in my top 5, so yeah, we're gonna go with what I have. And let's go ahead and jump right in. For number 1, I am saying Become You. This is by the same manga creator that did Orange and Orange Future, I think it is. But I decided to do this one first because even if it's like not my number 1 favorite seinen manga, because all of my picks are in no certain order, I do feel like as a person, as a manga reader, like this is the manga I feel like reflects me the most as a person. Like if somebody were to ask, Laura, you can only give me one manga recommendation that reflects you as a human being, Become You would be it. I have not reread it in a few years. I was flipping through it and it still deeply resonated with me. The main guy, I forget his name, but he is a musician or an aspiring musician. He really wants to play it, and he specifically wants to play with this guy here. He has something happen though, and he no longer wants to play the piano or play anything with music. Our main guy, he doesn't really know why, but he keeps pushing him and pushing him, and things more or less happen. We get this guy's backstory because he's such a bright and encouraging person. I mean, I feel like when he's on page that he just has that sunshine aura, so to speak, and he has such a huge heart, and I really just resonated with his struggles, with his desire to cheer up people, to make people happy as an individual, and doing whatever you can, even if people are saying that is not a good dream to have, that is not something you should go for because you're not good for it, or good at it, I mean, or some XYZ reason. He still goes after it because he has this dream of just making people smile. I resonate with that deeply in my heart, in my soul. Like that is me, I feel like, as a, like in a nutshell, of wanting to encourage people, wanting to be there for them and help make them happy. Like no matter where I am in my life, I feel like that has still just been very true for who I am. And so I love this manga. It supposedly is a series, but we never got volume 2. I don't even think volume 2 came out in Japan. Honestly, it feels like a standalone because I was rereading the end and I'm like, it feels like it's concluded. Yes, I definitely think there could be more to it, but don't be like intimidated by the one and that the series got axed. I honestly don't know. I think it's just sort of on hiatus, but I feel so content, and it's just a series I've seen other people in haul, but I'm like, this is just one. Even if I never reread it from like cover to cover, just the emotional feelings and response that I personally had, it's still just as strong as the very first time that I read it, and I'm like, it will stay in my collection for a really, really, really long time. For number 2, it has been a hot minute since I have read this series, honestly, and that is Run on Your New Legs. So a week ago, it's probably been a little bit longer actually as this video going live, I sold a lot of manga, and this was one of the few series that I sort of debated cutting, and I just was like, no, I really enjoyed it. I don't want it to leave my collection. And so I was like, you know, I'm gonna put this in my top 5 for seinen because it is a sports manga and it's 5 volumes at that. And how many sports manga series do we know that didn't get cut, didn't get axed, that went the intended story, intended purpose of for the characters and everything went for full 5 volumes? Like I really feel like that's unheard of for a sports manga. And I really loved our main guy's story. I am blanking Shota. I must say I'm blanking on all these characters' names today apparently, but I really was touched and inspired by his story. I felt like there was a lot of layers to it that really spoke to me, and it's very interesting because yes, this is a sports manga and it's set during the time of of the pandemic, which might sound like a turnoff because who really wants to remember things with COVID and the pandemic? I mean, I know I definitely don't, but it was handled so well done. And I think it was such an interesting perspective from a sports angle and how COVID affected sports for high schoolers. It wasn't too much. It wasn't just a plot device or a plot point. It really felt like this was a struggle for these characters who just want to run. And that's what really made this interesting too, is because our main guy, I don't remember how, but he loses his leg. I think it was, this is a terrible incident because I don't think we actually ever find out what happened, but we're seeing him come back to high school. He's restarting as a freshman, and he was a star soccer player, and he's having trouble with his best friend because there's this elephant in the room. I don't know if both of them were part of this incident and his best friend walked away uninjured or what exactly happened, but we do see that there's a lot of feelings there because they were best friends and they were the best star players. They went to school, they chose this school together, they had these dreams set up for themselves as friends, and that sort of got derailed when this incident happens. Shota just doesn't feel like he'll ever be able to run again. And then we met Chidori, is this Chidori? Yeah, Chidori, we meet him. He changes his whole world and offers to help him with a new prosthetic leg right here, and that's the same one we see on the cover. And he opens his whole world to running because he never even imagined that. And the journey, the self journey he goes on, not just physically, but mentally, was really interesting of seeing him chasing after his past self that had two normal or regular legs. While here he is now trying to race up and catch up with his past self, and that being like his number one rival, so to speak. Maybe I'm not saying that fully well because there might be more layers into that, but I remember thinking about that and just like how it was a very powerful imagery when reading this story. And also I was remembering about his parents, who I was so upset with, things that they said. And so I feel like this is a very great series. Again, it's only 5 volumes. I felt the ending, I definitely wanted more, but it was a very strong and satisfying ending. I unfortunately never did a review on this channel. I don't know why. It wasn't because I disliked the series. I mean, like I said, it's when I thought of unhauling things, it has stayed every single time. It was just like I looked at it and I'm like, nope, move on. So I definitely have attachment to it and love it and enjoy it. There must have been something with timing that I just was not able to go back and reread the earlier volumes, and in the end then just time passed and I never did. But I would highly recommend checking it out. It is very wonderful and I am definitely due for a reread, and then maybe I could actually do a formal video of why I enjoyed, or like more in depth of why I enjoyed reading this. Oh my goodness. For number 3, my daughter influenced me to pick this up. I never expected to love it as much as I did, and that is My Sister the Cat. This is a 3-volume series. Is there anything groundbreaking about this? Definitely not. I'm not going to say there is. Is it very heartwarming? Yes. I honestly feel like volumes 1 and 2 I super enjoyed. I believe I gave them both 5 stars, or I know I gave volume 1 5 stars, volume 2 4 stars, but honestly it was the ending of volume 3 that really bumped this up into a series that I'm like, okay, this isn't just an influence from my daughter anymore. This is a series I love and I want to keep for myself because I was impacted. But it's about this young human guy here, and unfortunately, like his family, or like his mother and his dad, I believe, passed away when he was really little, and his his sister, or soon to be her mom, though, basically in their family adopts him into their family. At first, it's just a lot of cute shenanigans between brother and sister because she loves her older brother and it's very wholesome, very sweet. I love how there's really a lot of different interactions between sister and brother, where you'll have like one of them was a human younger brother and then an older cat brother, which I love their dynamics and how they grew. I was trying to show who he is because he's just so cute, because he loves cute things, but his brother is sort of like this rough around the edges, and of course I can't find him, but their interactions were super cute. Here he is, look, and this is a bad one because he's like, that's totally whack, but look at him, he's so sad and he just wanted to be closer to his big brother. He loves his big brother. They're side characters, but I love them. Anyway, I got derailed trying to find that because I just thought they had the cutest interactions together, but their older brother really like starts to realize how much his little brother loves him, and it's okay if he doesn't like the same cute things, he could still love him. It was just It was adorable. So yeah, the first two volumes are very, very cute. There's not a lot of plot to it. I feel like there were some certain topics and issues that were addressed in volume two where like we have a black cat, and she really struggles because of people saying black cats are unlucky, and she just wants to be cute and pretty, but she feels like people just disregard her or are scared of her because she's this black cat. And so there's interactions with that and different topics and conversations I really loved. But I really feel like it all comes to like a head in volume three when we see our older brother really have the conflict of, can I really live in this family of cats and then be happy because I'm not their actual son, that he's a different species, you know, more or less. And people keep saying things and he just feels really down in the dumps. And so how that whole struggle was addressed and wrapped up in the end honestly made me cry. I tweeted the manga creator just saying thank you for this series, because I was just like, I'm here for a feel-good time, and he was still feel good at the end, but it was so much more than just a feel-good and happy story. That's ultimately, I do feel like, what it is. But I feel like as the volumes go on, you just see so much more heart in the characters, in the things that they do, in the relationships, that I really, really came to love this series very much, and was deeply thankful that my daughter influenced me to get this, because it had a cute cat on it with a bow, and she's like, Mom, you should totally get that. Here we are with me having more cat manga than I felt like I knew what to do with, but this was another cat manga I was just so thankful to have. Definitely one that I'm not getting rid of my collection, and I really feel like it's just underrated, and I wish it wasn't, because the art style is very cute and it's just very wholesome. And so if you need a cat manga that's short, maybe something a little bit different, then I would suggest this one, because it's very sweet and very wholesome, and I love it very, very much. For number 4, this is one of the most reread manga in my collection, and that is I'm the Villainess, So I'm Taming the Final Boss. I love this manga so much. 3 volumes for the actual series. We have volume 4 on the way. Yes, we do have a pre-order date. It's up on Amazon and other book retailers, so it is coming. I'm very, very excited, but I have been told by bigger, like huge fans of the series that have read the light novels and all the manga and everything. I mean, there's not other manga, but they've read it and they know. They said that it's more of just side stories about the different characters and whatnot. So it's not like something that happens after, like a continuation of the volumes 1 to 3. So yeah, this is one of the most reread series I have in my collection. I don't know why I love it so much. I just do. I just do. And I know I love our girl here. She's amazing. I find her, Aline, is very inspiring to me, because even when her, you know, she could have just let herself cry on the floor from being dumped by her fiance, who's a straight up jerk, and just rather than deciding like, okay, I'm gonna feel bad for myself because I'm in this situation, when she really loved the fiance. I mean, she's been reincarnated, but despite that, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna take life into my own hands, and I'm gonna go to the bad guy, because she knows the red flags from the game, and she knows that all of her routes lead to doom, more or less. I know it's another series, but she knows that things are going to end badly for her. So she's like, well, if I go to, you know, if she goes to the Demon King here, everything's going to be okay. It's all going to work out, and she'll woo him over, and her life will be saved. It's a lot more complicated than that, girl, though. It's a lot more complicated than that. She attempts to woo him over many times, lots of shenanigans. I love her interactions with Claude and everybody surrounding Claude and whatnot. Really love how there's a little bit of mystery woven in, and how ultimately this story, the Onome game that she was familiar of, that she knew, it's changing because other people have been reincarnated into this world as well. And so things are not the same, because Aline's not the same, and this other character is not the same. So I really enjoyed that, and the 3rd volume is my favorite. All of the action that builds up, I mean, every time I've reread it, I feel on the edge of my seat, even though I know it's coming. It's just so well drawn and so well done. I deeply love the series, and that's why I've reread it numerous times, because I love the humor, I love the romance unfolds, I love the mystery and how things are addressed, and the action, and how characters get stood up like, hello, yes, please stand them up, because, oh, there were just characters I was so irked by. And honestly, thinking about, there's a character in here, I really loved him, and I need to make a note for a future top 5 Wednesday prompt, because he was great, and he's just a side character, but I'm like, I love you, buddy. So it is wonderful. I have not watched the anime. I mean, I watched, I think, what was covered just for the manga, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was so great hearing all of the characters and whatnot, because Almond here, the bird, I love Almond. He's great. I can't remember his name, but this guy guy too. He is like one of Claude's right-hand men, and I love him and Aline's, like how their friendship grows from volume 1 to volume 3. It is fantastic, and I love that development very much. I can't wait for volume 4, because if it's just side stories, I'm excited to see everybody come back together. The good cast of characters anyway, because the bad guys, I don't want anything to deal with them, but seeing the majority, I hope the main characters coming back and just being together in side stories really makes me so very excited. I'm like, I will definitely take more of these characters, and I know I've had a lot of people recommend the light novels to me. I need to get up on it, because since I did read, you know, light novels, I think it was in August, and before that, then, well, yeah, August, and yeah, this month, September as well. It's October when this video goes live, but I'm filming it September. And so, yeah, I need to get up on it, because I've been reading light novels again, just very slow, but I can say for right now, this will continue to be a favorite in my collection. Probably still in one of the most reread series I have, because I love all the characters. They're all so wonderful. Not all, not the bad guys, but our main cast, you know what I mean? They're all very wonderful and love them very much. And for number 5, I'm so excited to talk about this one, because I never imagined that I'd be saying this is my top 5. That is, I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness, Charlotte and Alan. Oh my goodness, I love it. This series has really surprised me, because I did a first impression of this and I liked it and I thought it was fun and great, and I was looking forward to seeing this young woman, Charlotte, who has really had the world just turn against her. She is now wanted by the prince in her kingdom, who she was engaged to, and tossed aside, thrown out. Well, she's on the run, but she more or less, how she was treated was less than. And Alan, the sorcerer who wants to teach her these naughty things so that she could find happiness in her life, like seeing that whole concept and that idea be the root of this story and seeing it come to fruition has been one of the most satisfying reading experiences I've had this year. I really have loved it. I love the romance. Like, Charlotte and Alan are one of the cutest couples out there. They're so adorable. I love the romantic moments very, very much. But with like the latest volume, there was something so powerful of seeing Charlotte take matters into her own hands and make decisions. When we're talking about the beginning of this volume, or this series, where her happiness of doing things was counting the lines in the floorboards, okay? And I kid you not, she was literally doing that. I said that in that first impression video that I did. And it was like, Charlotte, like, she would not make decisions for herself. And so seeing her gradually open up and see that Alan is I'm hesitant to say a safe place, but I guess you would say a person where she was seeing she can be vulnerable, she could be honest, she could disagree with him if she doesn't like something he's doing, or, you know, if there's not a food that she really likes, like, or that a food that she really does like and want more of. She has the freedom now and the understanding, the knowledge, it feels like, where she as a human being can go after those things or not go after those things. That has been a very powerful part of this series, and I am 100% all on board, totally seated. It's also very, very funny. I always enjoy my time reading it. There definitely are moments where it's very heartbreaking. Like, there's a moment where we see Charlotte has changed clothes. Like, we don't see her change, but we see like she needs help with the back of her, I think it was like a shirt, a long shirt. We see like she has scars all over her back. And so there's moments, there's flashbacks that we see of how bad it has been for Charlotte when she's such this bright and beautiful young woman who's just so optimistic and encouraging and is very giving. And I feel like Alan's anger is always like 100% true. Like, dude, yes. Yes, because there are times I'm like, go after her family for the treatment that she had. But that's the thing, is Charlotte doesn't want any like pain to come to them or suffering to them. I mean, I wouldn't say she's forgiven them, but I still would think she shows a lot of grace considering how bad it was for her. So I'm so thankful Alan's in her life and just the way he loves her and how cute he is with her. It has been one of the, like I said, one of the most satisfying reading experiences. And I just never imagined that I would love this series as much as I do, but it's one that every time I get a new copy in the mail or like a new volume, I'm shocked that it's one of the first ones I always go for to see what happens next. And there were plenty of shenanigans in this latest volume costume, and I feel a little bit bad for Charlotte because I'm like, girl, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do now that these things are happening? It's wonderful. I would highly recommend it. Don't be turned off by the title because I was like, what is this? What is this? But the more I read, the more I was hooked, the more I was excited, and the more I wanted. I just wanted more. So I love it very much. I'm always very happy to see people say, I love this series. I'm like, yes, me too! Me too! I love the series. I actually need to watch the anime. I believe my husband watched a little bit of it. I have not seen it, but it is one I would not mind watching because I just have such a great time. So yes, highly recommend. Easily on my top 5. And honestly, all of these are. I really, really enjoy them. I mean, maybe I haven't read all of them as much as others, but it definitely doesn't take away my enjoyment from these series. But yeah, I would love to hear some of your favorite seinen manga. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!